Havenites, it is Thursday night. That means it is time for Shop Talk. I am Josh Olive from Haven Comics, the absolute best comic book store at our address in Madison, Alabama. And if you don't shop there and you're local, well, shame on you. If you're not local, I don't think I can safely say we're a destination store, but you should come anyway. It'd be great. We've got some really fun stuff on tap for you tonight, so stick around. That intro always makes us look way cooler and way more professional than we actually are, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It gets people's expectations up too high. Um, Speaking of high expectations and under delivering, how you doing, Alan?
You know what? I wore it tonight because I promised
Oh yeah.
it is fresh out of the dryer. So I mean, it's smelling good and everything. So if we had smell-o-vision, y'all would know all about it. I will. You know what? I meant to pull up the link earlier so I could share the link and let everybody know where they can get this spiffy little thing at.
Every time you say link, I think sausage. I don't know what that says about me, other than I'm probably hungry.
But you know what? That's just another reason why I love you right there.
I'm thinking like Kaneka sausage. That's what I got in my brain right now.
Hey, have you tried that bacon that they have?
No.
Yes, they have bacon, and the bacon it's really good. I think the only place you can actually get it right now is there.
I love bacon. I love Kaneka sausage. I think this sounds like a phenomenal mix.
Yes, it is. So I'm like really excited to talk to our guest tonight. I say
Me
we
too.
go bring him on.
We have a bonus guest, and this is awesome. Let's bring this fella out. Trot him out. Oh my lord! Look at that. We got us a Justin Birch. None other than the man behind what is affectionately known at the shop as the Birch Book.
One of them, anyway.
All books that you do are called the Birch Book. I don't know if you knew that. But we do have people at the shop who don't care what it is. If your name is on it, they want to buy it. So
I appreciate that.
You have fans.
Okay, so before the others jump on, I do have a question for you. When you were lettering Breath of Shadows and you got to that last issue and I'm assuming that you letter an issue and then you read it, or maybe you read it beforehand. I don't know how that actually works for you. But did you read it and go like, what just happened?
No.
Let me tell you what, that was straight up Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt type stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great, but I mean, it was definitely twisted.
Oh, for sure. I'm hopeful that we'll get to do a fourth series, but I'm always the last person to know. So
I guess I think about it more like this, right? Do you guys ever get concerned that somebody might need some like counseling or something when you get one of these scripts? When you see this book, are you like, this guy might just need some help? Because there's some dark and twisted and weird stuff in these books, man.
I mean, no. Are we getting help for movie directors or anything like that? You know what I mean? Like script writers and stuff. So
they should get help. Some of them. Let's be honest. Whoever came up with the human centipede needs help.
Okay, so since you actually worked on the book, I got another question. To my understanding, Jimmy is now a giant centipede god that's going to eat people from here on out. Would that be the proper assumption?
No, I interpreted it as he's just the messenger and trying to get people to go to the centipede god to get eaten.
Okay, I can see that too.
So before they were using the writer, and I can't remember his name, and his writings were encouraging people to come look for the temple, but people don't read as much in the 60s, so they got to find a new way to spread their message. So they get
Hence the rock and roll.
the rock star.
Okay, that's pretty slick. We got somebody else backstage, but he's been doing some stuff. Are you ready to come on? Yeah, let's bring him on.
Here he comes. Oh, it's a Dustin.
I mean, I'm charging by the hour. I'm just sitting back here waiting, and I mean, Alan's just running that tab up.
It's how he do, you know. Look at that. Look at that. We got us a Justin. We got us a Dustin. This is awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I ended up being late. I ended up getting home later than I thought, and then I couldn't find the power cords to any of my lights, so I'm doing this one from the comic book chiropractor headquarters instead of the normal in the comic.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we talked about this some last week. But I'm gonna go. I got this book back from CGC the other day with a 5.0 on it. Does that make this a super valuable book? No, this is not a high dollar book. This is just one that means something to me, and I've been looking for it forever. Yep. And I wanted to find it in the wild. eBay is for suckers. I don't like eBay.
I heard that.
It makes it too easy, and also I don't trust it. I like to find it. That's part of the fun is finding it, right? I don't know.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that, Justin? Do you like the hunt? Do you like the search?
I don't care as long as I get the book.
Okay,
yeah.
So
tell them how you get your books, Justin.
You're a Philistine. I got it.
Justin's worked out this great method that's just turned out to be a beautiful thing for him.
What do you do?
What I say is, hey, I'm thinking about getting this book. And then like 2 weeks later, Dustin's like, yeah, I found it for you.
Hey, that's a pretty good method.
And it's usually for a pretty slamming price.
Well, yeah, I'm going to start telling you what books I'm looking for, Dustin. But yeah, so I've got this out of a collection. First time I've ever actually seen it in the wild. And here's why I bring this up. This book had no place, it has no right to get a 5.0. This book was garbage. This was in such absolutely terrible and despicable condition. This book, I didn't think it could get higher than a 4, honestly. And I thought, a 4.5 if you could work some kind of a miracle, but that was like legit in miracle land. I was never expecting that. And for this to come back a 5.0, what did you do to this book so that people have some understanding of what it is that you're doing when you say clean and press a comic? What did you do to this book to take it from to, hey, that's not bad?
Well, if I told everybody, then everybody would be doing it. And then what would be special about me?
Well, just because you tell somebody what you do doesn't mean they know how to do it.
No, I mean, I spent probably about an hour and a half dry cleaning it front and back. I have some pretty heavy lighting in here that I use. I got a 3-foot light bar here. I've got light bars on my other tables. So I use all these heavy lights that I have in here. I've got a installed for the room here is actually a big garage light. Basically, it's something. It's what you would use in like your garage. And it's got all these pads on it with these big LEDs on it. So it's all about the lighting. That's the biggest thing. Whenever I get books from people and they, they tell me, oh yeah, this is 9.8, this is 9.8. And then I get it in my hands and I'm like, man, if your lighting is not good, you're going to miss a whole bunch of things. So, the lighting gives me the ability to see every single thumb bend, every little crease, every tiny little thing there. So that's another big thing is making sure that I identify all of the pressable and non-pressable defects just so that I'm able to give an accurate grade estimate, and then I'll work out those pressable defects. And I've already done the cleaning. I do the cleaning beforehand, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I like I told you, my biggest thing is I refuse to ever let another person get half a point grade bump on anything I've worked on. Like that to me is where my pride in my work is I won't let anybody ever improve on the work that I already did to a book. Whatever that grade gets after I touch the book, that's it. That's as high as it's going to go. That's my goal anyway.
Well, I think you got this one higher than it had any right to go. I
Well,
genuinely, I opened the box and I was like, "What the heck? Oh my god!" I was shocked. Yeah, what grade would you give, Justin? That's a good question. Probably a little bit of spine roll there.
Definitely purple label.
Right? For sure.
Does drinking beer?
Nah, he gets a conserved label in my book, man. He might have had a staple replaced here or there, but he might not have all his coupons intact, but he's still pretty good.
Justin Birch, he ain't got all his coupons intact, but he's still pretty good. That
Is he
should be your
missing the
tagline on your
tattoos that come
website,
with
man. Got some creasing on the back cover.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's just a subscription crease. You can't do nothing about that. This might be my favorite conversation in a long time. This is funny. Oh my lord.
Well,
So Justin, you had a book you wanted to show off. Did I understand that right? You got a new acquisition?
Yeah, I can save it for when we start talking about heroes.
We can do that. I'm excited to see what it is, so I was trying to jump the gun.
It's junk.
Well, if you guys want, until we get the other part of our conversation, we're going to talk about heroes here in a minute. But Alan, do you want to go ahead and break out that store folio and talk some comics?
I can do that. I will. Justin, the book that you're going to show off, is that the one that you posted on Instagram?
Yes, but there are others as well.
Oh, yeah. See, I know what book he's talking about now, and Dustin's right. It's all right. I mean, it's nothing special. I mean, I guess it'll do for a collection.
I'm not on Instagram, so it will be a surprise to me. And I know the caliber of some of the other books that he's picked up over the past couple of years, and I just bow in awe. So I can't wait to see what you got, brother.
So I really and truly don't have a lot. I'm suffering from week 5 blues. I only had technically 4 books come in. This one, yeah, we've talked about it. Marvel is definitely propping up the Spider-Man sales, but this was by far my favorite cover.
It is a slick cover.
I had to pick it up, and that is the Iron Mickey cover.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm seriously considering sending this one off to get graded just to preserve it, so the kids will have it when they get older.
You best send that to the chiropractor first.
But let's be honest, I didn't read it. No way I'm reading it. I already know it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can legit know that one's never been opened before, Dustin.
Yeah, that was definitely no spine roll on that one or creases. But right off the bat, I got Moon Knight issue 24. So for
That's
anybody,
cool cover.
yeah, it's actually, and Morbius is in this issue. It's not the version of Morbius that you would really associate with. He's actually dying in this issue. And he is trying to give Moon Knight like his perfect dream life mentally. He's trying to project this image on him.
That's not Morbius, that's Morpheus.
Morpheus, sorry. You're actually getting the perfect dream life of multiple personalities. So, and he's having to fight all the way through those. This was actually kind of a setup issue for what's to come. For that, it's called Night's End. I believe that starts issue 25. So, I mean, but McKay's been doing a good job since the very first issue on this. This is one of those that I think it's flying under the radar on editorial, and they're leaving them alone.
Yeah,
because
so he
this
can
is
tell good stories.
Yeah, it's been a good story, and it's been a solid book from the very beginning.
Let me tell you, any writer who can pretty much have an issue rest on the shoulders of Tigra
Yep.
and have it not be a crap book is doing pretty good. And issue 22, she was the front and center in that book, and it was a great issue.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm glad we didn't rush right back into that story. You know, that story was just 2 issues ago, but I'm ready for her to be back more predominantly because we know we know which direction that relationship's heading in. Next up, Darth Vader issue 35. I don't like Dr. Aphra. I'll be honest with y'all. I think she's an absolutely useless character in Star Wars.
Is that allowed to even be said?
Well, hang on.
He said it on here before.
Yeah, I've said it on here, and I'll be saying it.
I mean, I know a guy that would probably like just. I mean, he'd show up at your house for that one.
Well, here's my thing on it. The character Vance in Bounty Hunters, I don't even know if he's still around. It's the same thing for that character. I don't like all these extra characters that they've added into Star Wars because, you know, this takes place in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. We know that all these characters will be dying soon, or they'll be sent off somewhere else, never to be seen again. I liked Dr. Aphra in this particular issue because she was not the focal point of it, but yet there was a very specific reason why she was in there. I feel like she contributed to this particular story, but to the mythos of Star Wars period, no, I don't think she really and truly contributes.
Hey, look, I'm Mike Wazowski.
You're Mike Wazowski. I'll take that off right quick. Let me see if I can get rid of that.
I did it already. I was just doing that for fun.
But I mean, it was another good issue. Vader has basically he needed Aphra so they could kind of go to this temple and use her to help get through the booby traps because he needs basically a shield to help him focus the Force because the Force is kind of coming and going and nobody can truly control it right now. It was another good issue. They should be able to wrap up this story in issue 36.
Almost like they're writing it for 6-issue story arcs that can be combined into a trade.
Exactly. But this one should finish up fairly quick as far as where Aphra is concerned, and hopefully she'll drift off into obscurity somewhere.
Next, you know how I feel about Space Wars, but when that series first started, that was consistently my favorite read every time it came out. I read that series all the way up through where Vader just went berserk and just destroyed that whole planet of people. I mean, just annihilated everybody after he found out that his girlfriend was still alive or something like that. I don't know, but I just remember that specific issue was like the last thing I read. But I mean, it was cool. Darth Vader was a badass.
You know what I like? I like that you can absolutely commit genocide and destroy millions of people on multiple planets. And at the end, they can say, you know, I know there's still good in you, and you can be redeemed and become a nice Force ghost. Like, what kind of message is that sending?
Well, they're doing it in all the Marvel movies, so.
But you know, the Darth Vader title is still the best Star Wars title going. I mean, none of them can compare to it.
Who's writing it? Who's writing it now?
Is it Charles Soule still?
Is it still Soule? No, Soule was the older one.
Pack is writing it.
Oh, it's Greg Pak. Yeah,
Greg Pak. He was writing it whenever so he started writing it in the beginning, I believe. So
he wrote World War Hulk.
Okay.
And Planet Hulk too. The guy's good.
Planet Hulk was much better than World War Hulk, but if he wrote Planet Hulk,
I don't know, man. I loved World War Hulk.
To me, after I read them back to back, like in 2 weeks, I read both of them, and after the whirlwind of awesomeness that Planet Hulk was, when I got to World War Hulk, I was just like, man, there wasn't really a ton to that. It didn't feel like it felt like in Planet Hulk, and it was a much smaller omnibus. It felt like there was so much in there, but I don't know. I just felt like there was something missing from World War Hulk to the storyline.
Where he came back to wreak havoc on the Illuminati for what they did, and that scene on the moon where he's facing off against Black Bolt, and Black Bolt just like whispers his name, and you see him flying back and skin peeling off of him and all that, and you're like, oh man, you're in trouble now. And then that whole scene was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, that got my attention for the whole run.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Well, I didn't know who Sentry was at the time either, because I think this was probably, I probably read all that within like the first 6-8 months of actually getting into comic books. That was one of the first superhero stories that I ever read. So I had no idea who Sentry was. I was like, who is this Superman ripoff? Like, this right here sucks. Like, they just bring this guy in, think he's just going to tear the Hulk up. Like, okay. But yeah, I mean, I think the important message here is that we can all agree that whether it be Planet Hulk or World War Hulk, Greg Pak had a hand in writing probably one of the greatest Hulk stories ever.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. All right, what you got next there, Alan?
Okay, next, I've only got 2 new ones left. I told y'all it was a light week for me. Gunslinger, issue 21. Once again, Brett Booth is absolutely killing it with the art in Gunslinger. Gunslinger coming through the stained glass window, this cover was just great. This particular issue, Gunslinger and Dakota, they've headed off to the island. They are going to try to take out Clown. My only gripe with the Gunslinger comic is it seems like they're extremely fast reads. It's almost like it doesn't feel like a full comic book.
Hey, B. Raimi, how you doing?
But in the Spawn universe, Gunslinger is the best title going right now. King Spawn is a strong second, but Gunslinger is definitely the best title going. Since everybody's on, I'll make these last one quick. And y'all should have known it was going to be on here. Void Rivals, issue 1. So I know that Nick really and truly didn't like it. I thought that this entire issue, the whole purpose of it is to introduce you to 2 characters and a cameo by a third. I thought Kirkman did a really good job introducing those 2 characters. There was definitely enough there on the story.
Well, kind of an extra bonus character with the hand droid. Yeah,
and I did like the hand droid. I thought that was kind of cool. I did like the fact that they were literally, they're basically cutting each other down. I'm supposed to hate you. Oh, if you even talk to the hand droid, you're supposed to die. Blah 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 blah.
Well, it's enemy mine.
Yeah, and then
enemy mine meets the last Starfighter. I mean, that's what this is.
Yep, but when they take their helmets off to actually look at each other face to face for the first time, and they realize they look exactly the same. They're not human, but they're human.
Humanoid.
Humanoid. I thought that was really good. I think this is going to be a slow build, bringing everybody into it. I think some people that, if there's anybody out there that didn't like it, I think it's because they were probably expecting more than what we really got. Yeah,
one person right there
with his head down. But I mean, I did like it. I thought it was good. I am looking forward to Duke 1 and Cobra Commander 1 and also G.I. Joe 301.
I say, let's just be honest. Duke 1, Cobra Commander 1, you want to do a little bit of retconning of some history stuff on G.I. Joe to make it tie into Transformers, whatever. You're giving me G.I. Joe 301, continuing the story, continuing the numbering. I'm a happy camper, period, end of story.
Yep. That was it for new comics. As far as my throwback pick of the week.
Throwback pick of the week, yeah.
I've actually got 2 of them, and it's because I can't remember if I've done one of these as a throwback pick or not. And plus, the only reason why I picked these 2 is because I know that our boy Dustin likes the older Silver Age Batman covers.
That he does.
Even though these technically aren't Batman, these are World's Finest, but they are Silver Age. So we'll go with the first one. World's Finest, issue 186.
tenfold.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Put Batman in the stocks. That's right. Where he
Uh-huh.
belongs.
And then my personal favorite out of the two, World's Finest, issue 202.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Don't
This
know
is
what's
not
going on
an
here.
imaginary fight. I love it.
Yep. Don't know what's going on here. I've never opened these books. I've never read them. Hadn't got a clue. They're really not worth maybe, I don't know, $15, $20 if that.
Yeah. World's
but
Finest has got some fantastic covers, especially when you start dipping down into the Golden Age.
Yep.
But the Golden Age and into the really early Silver Age, some of those covers are just fantastic, and you get some big name artists on a lot of that stuff too. I mean, Neil Adams did a few of them, and I mean, Macy won at some point tonight that just happens to be one of the most fantastic Neil Adams covers that no one talks about.
Excellent. Real quick, some other treasures from this week that I have not read yet because I just picked them up. But Red Zone number 4.
Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on that one.
Holy
Hashtag
smoke.
Nick loves AWA.
Nick, are you reading AWA books?
No,
Why not?
they never interest me. I tried them real hard when it first started, but I just never could get into them.
Well, something wrong with you. This book is amazing. This is fantastic. This is Red meets John Wick, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
If you like John Wick and you like the Bruce Willis movie Red, which was based on, of course, the comic book, that's what this book is, and it's phenomenal. I just love this cover.
That is a nice cover.
Yep.
Y'all,
Oh yeah.
These Mark Brooks corner box covers aren't all my cup of tea, but that right there is spectacular.
Yeah, Brooks does good stuff every now and then. I don't like everything he does, like some people, but I mean, when he does one that I like, I mean, it's like I'm like, I don't really care for it, or man, I really like it.
Alan,
That's neat.
look at that.
Oh, yeah. That has been so good.
Sweet Tooth's evil cousin?
No, dude, don't you even bring Sweet Tooth and that gnarly nonsense into this. Dead Romans is a phenomenal book. This is really good.
Is it about the Romans who are now dead?
Yes.
They're
Or is it
dead
about
and
Romans
they're dead and they
who-
don't know it yet.
Oh, okay.
It's based on a historical battle where the Roman Empire just absolutely got their lunch handed to them by the Goths, barbarians, Visigoths, all that. It was really the beginning of the end of the Roman Empire in this massive bloody battle. And this does a really good job of building up suspense. You're showing how things happen, but yeah, phenomenal. This book also came out.
Yep, that's been a fun read also.
Such a fun book. Loving it. And this one you need to tell Bug. She's gonna like this one. The Scarlet Witch Annual.
Oh, yeah. She loves her Scarlet Witch. That's for sure.
Book has been so good. And then this one came out today or yesterday. And this is not technically a relaunch. It is a launch of an Ultimate Universe. It is not the old Ultimate Universe, but this is a new Ultimate Universe.
Interesting.
Brian Hitch is drawing it, and Jonathan Hickman is writing it. I think this is going to be big. I hope, I pray that they learned their lesson from what they did wrong on the Ultimate Universe the last time, and that they're able to build and sustain this whole separate universe, kind of as as they want to, as a bit of a kind of an Elseworlds what if kind of a universe, but it's permanent and it has its own continuity and things matter. I would really, really love it if that were the case. We still have a few copies of that on the shelf, so y'all need to snap it up.
Go buy the books.
AWA has got 2 new series coming out.
Yes, the Ribbon Queen looks really good.
Yeah, the Ribbon Queen
and the Madness.
Madness. And Dustin, didn't you say on one of y'all's shows that you like J. Michael Straczynski?
I have no idea who that is.
Have you ever read Midnight Nation?
No.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking
You
somebody
need to
else.
get you the
I like
collected edition
JMS's
of Midnight.
Spider-Man run.
Oh God.
Well, he's the writer for Madness.
I was talking. I'm trying to get myself the Superman thing here.
The little Jerry curl there.
Not working.
The
Anywho,
spit curl.
it was fine until they brought in the weird spiders and totems and weirdness like that.
Right. And then it just totally went sideways. And when he had Spider-Man wrap himself up in a cocoon, and then come out with his new spider powers, and then he used his spider sticks that suddenly sprout out of his arms. What the heck are those? And he pins Moreland to the floor with them and then eats his soul. That's not Spider-Man. I don't know what that is, but it is not Spider-Man. It's pure garbage, and I'm angry about it still to this day.
Well, at least it's better than them making him some C-word individual that's sleeping on people's couches after he just got finished running a billion-dollar company. But that's neither here nor there.
Hey, what's up, CJ?
It was good warm pie. I won't lie.
That was that was legit one of my favorite people that I got to hang out with this weekend.
Yeah, not Nick, not Justin.
Well, I tell you what. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's start this off.
Well, hold on now. I thought we were going to keep crapping on Spider-Man for a moment.
Well,
I was
we can
excited.
if
Don't
you
we do
feel like
that
we need
enough?
to.
No, I never can get enough of it. Ask Justin.
Big Nosh in the house. How did he get here today?
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Man, dude, it is awesome to see you. Nosh, hope all is well, brother.
Um,
You know
Good to
it
see you.
was, man. That's the best thing about warm pie.
yeah, after we sat there for 3 hours waiting on a check at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
It was fine. No big deal. Just three guys sitting in a diner talking about comic books. I mean, what else? What else could you be doing that would be better than that?
that sounds pretty darn awesome. I
Touching
gotta
butts.
admit, that sounds pretty good.
I don't think Nick knows how to react to my newfound outlook on life.
You talking about Hulk #1, Nosh? If so, I got to tell you, it felt like it was trying to recapture those early issues of Immortal Hulk, and it wasn't living up to it for me. That's I hope you like it. I hope it's great. I just it felt like it was trying for Immortal Hulk, and it just fell short for me. But don't let that stop you, brother. You read it. You come back and tell us what you think about it. That's the important thing. But yeah, that's Spider-Man. I didn't care for what he did there. I haven't cared for anything recently that's been happening. That's just been very troubling for me. We'll move on. We can talk about books we do like. Totally digging Fantastic Four. That's all kinds of fun.
Can't
Yeah,
read it yet.
it's not bad. It just didn't excite me. I'm hoping that it's gonna take off and get some momentum going, but the first issue just didn't get me. It didn't crank my tractor, so to speak.
He didn't get his comic book B word going. In the right, Dustin.
Yeah. It wasn't the comic book Blue Chew.
Yeah, brother, you ain't wrong about that. I don't know what Donny Cates was doing with Hulk, but it was terrible. It was like, let's just pick him up and plant him over here and make him a whole different thing, and it was awful. That did not work at all. Did not work at all.
Man, Jason, I don't know what possessed you to go to Dallas instead of going to Heroes, bro. But as a fellow collector who I know is like me and loves the books, Heroes is just the mecca, man.
All right, let's talk about that for a second and set this up. Heroes Con in North Carolina is by all reports, according to the comic book artists and writers and letterers and inkers and editors and all the various people associated with comics, all of them say that is the best pure comics show left on the board, and it is a comics show. And if you look at just the comic book creators who show up, right, it's the big boys, and they're all there. They all go there, and they all seem to have a great time. You get texts from people saying like, "Hey, I'm eating dinner at the same place as Jim Shooter and Cullen Bunn, who are sitting there talking to each other." Yeah, those are the kind of texts that you get all over the place, right?
Colin Bunn waved to me when I was standing at the bar. I mean, I waved first. It wasn't like he recognized me, but I was like, he was like, and I yelled at Steranko as he was walking by the patio, and he paid all of us no attention with his 9'4" bodyguards.
And his perfectly coiffed hair.
Oh yeah, we're hitting Baltimore next, man. I don't know who's coming with me, but I promise you, I will be at Baltimore in September.
But yes, so everybody says that this is a phenomenal show, and this is the one that you want to go to if you're a comics fan. And so you guys went this year. Justin, this is not your first rodeo at Heroes, if I remember correctly. You've been before, right?
Yeah, I think this is like my 6th or 7th time.
Okay, so for you, as a veteran, what's your take on the show? Do you think it's the be all end all of comic focused shows?
I do, and it's because there's no matter what aspect, man. Let me try doing this. No matter what aspect of comics that you like, whether it be collecting single issues and whether it be dollar books or super expensive books, there's that there. If you just like artists, that they're there. If you just want to get commissions, they're there. If you just want to get writer signatures, they're there. If you just want original art, it's there. So like every aspect of the comic book collecting hobby is there.
I will say the drink and draw charity auction stuff that they auction off from the artists from that show are universally holy smokes, wow. Just incredible. Now, what he just posted up there, is that true? Is that the book you're going to show off? Because if so, we just need to do that now.
I mean, I have a stack of books here I could show.
Well, let's do it.
I think you should enlarge in him.
Well, that's exactly what I'm about to do.
Okay, did you take your stack of books with you on vacation?
Yes.
I love you.
So he left the hotel and went straight to the beach in the same state.
I left Charlotte Sunday morning and drove straight to the beach from there.
Good call.
They're here with me. I'm not going to leave them in Charlotte and pick them up on my way home.
Well, I didn't know you went straight to the beach from there. My bad.
Yep, straight to the beach. Okay, so
Don't worry, Justin. I have
2 of them.
I have 2 of them here to show when you're ready.
Oh, let's do those first.
Okay.
So
All right.
We'll go in descending order. How's that?
Are you sure? Because I think one of these is a bigger pickup than the smaller numbered one, but
that's fine. I want to do it in descending order.
Okay. All right. First book Justin Birch picked up. Let me get it out of this. Somehow these ended up in my box, but he got an ASM 14 and a 4.5.
Oh man.
So that was really cool. Just, oh, sorry, dude, I cracked it. I guess now we got to bust it out of the slab.
You were going to do it anyway, or you wouldn't have it.
Damn it, I was trying to give somebody a heart attack. All right, and then he also picked up an ASM 10, and this is CGC 4.0.
That's old label.
Yeah, this is first gen case. Like, I think this was, when we looked it up, this was graded like 2002. So Yeah, I'm definitely expecting a full point on this, depending on how hard they hit it for the back, because it's got some tanning on the back. But I mean, they've been pretty lenient on that. But I think structurally this book I think is at least a 7.0, at least a 7.0. I mean, it is a fantastic looking book structurally.
We just got us a comics and death metal in the house. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan? So
Yeah,
those were
and,
Justin's first two pickups.
My favorite thing about that 10 was I think they were asking what 425,
Yeah.
and they were like, well, if you give us cash 375. So we walked away, and then we came back, and I was like, would you take 350? And he's like, how about 360? And I said, okay. And Dustin,
That's I see. I didn't know that happened, because I'd have been like, no, how about you take 350 or I'll walk away again.
well,
Because they were
so
on the
proud of
hook,
me
bro.
at the- You were
I
so
was,
proud of
because
me at the time.
I was because you did take them. You know what, Justin? I'm not going to take that away from you.
Yeah.
I retract my statement. You got them down by yourself. You cut a deal. You beat them up all by yourself, and you got a good deal on that book. So
For
fantastic
350.
job.
So this one was
So
bought before Heroes, but delivered at Heroes. So we got a nice ASM number 6 and a 2.0.
yes.
There we go. How's that?
Yep. I'm
Look at that.
happy. I'm digging this.
Yeah,
I used to have that book.
you did.
I thought it looked familiar.
Huh. Okay, and then we got a nice ASM number 5 and a 5.0.
Yeah.
Got a
sorry,
good deal
bro.
on that book.
This is our show, but you're welcome to like and subscribe to it too.
Oh yeah.
So I see where we're headed here, and I like what you're laying down, brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're still going. We're still going. We got a good old number ASM number 4.
Yes.
And
I don't know what it is, but that second panel there, the top right panel, I guess from what I'm looking at, that top right panel, something about that, I have always loved that particular panel. Just the way he's reshaping, be like, no, you can't grab me. That's so cool.
Looks like he's throwing the hip thrust at him.
And Dustin, you were proud of me for the price I paid on this one as well.
Yep, got a good deal on that one.
Actually, I got a good deal on all of these.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
We beat
Knox
one
brother, you
dealer
got a
up.
good one, man.
The guy that we got the 14 and the 5 from, we ended up getting that guy to come off like almost $600 off the pair, and that was 2 separate purchases. So yeah, definitely good deals.
And the 14 was in the first 3 hours of the show opening on Friday.
Yeah,
that was like the first book.
You bought that straight out, right? Okay. Yeah. So didn't wait until the last day and hope he still had it.
Oh, is this one going to be that book? We could have done without this one.
All right, here we go.
Oh my Lord, you really did get one.
Oh, wait, what happened?
The awesomeness of that book broke the camera.
It just broke the internet.
Dang it. Hold on.
What's funny, we lost you and Dustin at the exact same time.
Yep.
Sorry, I had people come in the room.
There we go, right there.
Man, you got you an amazing fantasy
big pickup.
It's a good looking copy too.
Mm-hmm. It's the best 1.0 you'll ever see.
Yeah, it presents like a 2.5 at least. Yeah, I mean it's nice.
Oh my
gosh. If it wasn't for that tape pull over the 12 cent, I mean it would present 3.5. I mean it's a very, very nice book.
It's a facsimile. It's been distressed as is a facsimile. But
so what
holy
made you
smokes.
decide to start going after all the Spider-Man books?
So I'm trying to do my full ASM run. So I have
That's not an Amazing Spider-Man book.
Everything from 100 up. So this year I was trying to focus on 50 to 100, or I'm sorry, 50 to 99. But then Rob from Rob's Fat Stack of Comics got in my ear and said, you should really re-examine that thought process because
the market is
are-
really down right now, and it's the best
Yeah.
time to get those high dollar books. He's exactly right.
So that's what I'm doing.
So you weren't just happy with just hoarding all the X-Men books?
No, I was not.
Did all the X-Men, then he got bored, and now he's doing ASM. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm already scared of what's going to happen after I finish ASM because I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
Thor.
Daredevil.
Man, I've been seeing the prices of Daredevil #1s lately, and I'm just like, I think I can afford that.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the same boat, but I'm in a little slightly different boat, is in the fact that my wife isn't as understanding as yours.
Well, okay, so let's be fair. The money that I used to buy these books was all from stuff that I sold. Like, I'm selling my entire toy collection. So that money went from the toys to this. So
Yeah.
Yeah, his original plan for up until the last month and a half was to buy an ASM 1, and then once he had gotten to a certain point with his funds, and a friend of mine had one available, we made an executive decision that Justin is indeed not going to buy the ASM 1, because at this point there's no reason when you can just leapfrog that and just go to the 1. Like, you don't need ASM 1 if you got the AF-15, right? Like, it's not even necessary. Like, your whole run of Spider-Man can be
not a first
finished.
Appearance.
Right.
I mean, it's a guest appearance of the FF right there in issue 1. You're like, okay. So no, that first appearance in AF-15, that's comics history in your hand right there. That's amazing.
But at the same time, is it a complete run if you don't have
Oh, yeah. Because here's what because if somebody that has a complete run doesn't have the AF-15 and they try to smack talk him, then he just has to say, yeah, but you don't have AF-15.
Rob,
do you?
I would just never buy the #1
about your comics. Is that a problem you encounter often? Smack talk about your comics and the specifics of your collection?
Yeah. So over the past 2 months, I feel like there's been this sort of unspoken rivalry between me and Rob. He would show off a book, and I would feel that I would need to respond. I would just need to respond. So this is my response.
I like the way you think, CJ. Yes, that's correct. Well, dude, if that's your response, is that that's kind of like what Israel does when somebody attacks them. They're like, yeah, okay, you attacked me. I'm not going to respond in kind. I'm going to respond tenfold. You will regret you ever thought about attacking me. That's kind of what your response is there. Holy smokes. You got a freaking AF-15. I just want to hold it.
I think only Dustin knew this was going to happen, because from January 1st up until last Thursday, everyone just assumed that I was getting an ASM 1 at this show.
Slap shaming. That's such a great thing to call somebody. I'm digging it.
Slap shaming. Honestly, everything that I get my hands on, but the stuff that I'm currently picking up back issues on, unfortunately, is Daredevil. I only say unfortunately because of the price of some of those books. And I'm also trying to put together the complete G.I. Joe run. But I'm doing G.I. Joe differently. I'm attempting to do that entire run and only buy those comic books at one location. I want to, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I want to have a complete run of one particular series and be able to say that I bought every single one of them at the same shop. I don't know why. It's just it's a quirky little thing.
I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I can imagine in all aspects.
Josh, you need to just start buying them all, and so he can just come into your shop and buy them.
Now, the weird one out of that is there's another series out there that when Josh runs across them, he automatically picks them up and just puts them in my box, and I never know when one's going to show up.
Yep.
I don't know why I got started on this, but the living mummy.
Because the artwork is so spectacular.
Oh yeah, the artwork on the living mummy. I mean, you just can't compare it to anything else out there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Even at that.
Yeah,
era.
I love. Yeah.
You picked that up from Brian Silverback's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, those are my two big ones that I'm putting together complete runs on, and yeah, I will have that Daredevil one before it's all said and done. But at the same time, I'm not in a rush I don't have like a set goal of when I want this done by or anything like that, because I just like discovering them at the shop. To me, that's just as much fun as actually owning the book at the house, is going in and going, oh, wait a minute, I didn't notice that the other day.
When did this show up?
Yeah, when did this get here? Why wasn't I notified? So yeah, that's what I'm collecting right now, other than new stuff.
I'm just collecting omnibuses. And
Yes,
I'm never
you
going to
are.
buy another book because apparently I lost too much money on an ASM 129.
I didn't even know you were still here.
Do I have anything at the shop, Josh?
I believe I saw something sitting up on the shelf above your box earlier today.
I hope
Now,
not.
I will ask this. Are you planning to come to the shop on Saturday because it's free RPG day?
I'm going to try to, but I'm traveling to San Jose this week, so I also have to spend time with them.
What are you doing in
on a
San
week.
Jose?
Corporate's flying me out.
It's hard living that jet set life, isn't it?
All the way
I
to
mean,
San Jose.
I would rather go anywhere else, like other than the Bay Area.
I mean,
Except for Baltimore, like Baltimore, Bay Area. What's funny though is I'm literally like less than a mile from Rob Morse's house, Fat Stacks. We talked about it, and I showed him where I'm going to be, and he literally on the same phone screen, like didn't even have to zoom out or anything. He was like, "Oh yeah, I live there." So he's like, "If I get bored, just give him a call."
Well, if you want to learn how to play RPGs, show up at the shop on Saturday. We also have a food truck coming out. She's at the old Zesto diner that used to be in town here, the old in 5 Points.
I like dining food.
The daughter has resurrected it as a food truck, and they're going to be out there. We also have the owner of the only mini pig rescue in North Alabama is going to be there. She's selling snow cones, and she's bringing a pig named Dexter and some little piglets. So the kids can pet a pig and play with piglets. And
I think we'll probably be coming then. Hold on, watch this. Hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to call my daughter in here.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what she thinks.
Yeah, I think we'll probably be up there a little bit before 2 to play Honey Heist with Tots, because the kids love that.
Yep, you come on out. It'll be good stuff.
And plus, we'll let them play with the piglets and all that stuff.
All right, I'll scoot back some. All right, so Josh, tell her what's going to be at your shop Saturday.
I don't know how you feel about this, but have you ever wanted to pet a baby pig? Tiny little piglet?
A little piglet? Do you want to pet a piglet? So, Josh,
well, we're going to have some little piglets up at the comic book store on Saturday. Do you want to come out and see them?
Yeah. Okay. Say, what time will they be there?
What time will they be there?
They'll be there at 10 o'clock.
I'm going to come steal all the pigs.
Tell Uncle Dustin, don't be a poop head.
Poop head!
Now she sees me.
This is morbid because she's smacking on some ham right now.
Well, don't worry. All of the hot dogs that they're going to, or all the corn dogs that they sell at the food truck are all going to be 100% beef. So the pigs don't have to be offended.
Are they for adoption?
I'm not a fan of beef hot dogs.
Are they for adoption?
Yeah, this is a mini pig rescue, and she is looking for homes for some of them. Yes.
Not going to happen, but
yeah.
No.
Yeah. There's
No, we're not taking a pig.
Technically, a mini pig is any pig that weighs less than 300 pounds.
Less than 300 pounds.
Now, there are breeds of pigs that are about the size of a small dog. or not a small dog, but a medium-sized dog.
You don't ever know what you're gonna get, though, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
that's why if you get if you get a piglet, you don't. But if you get a full-grown pig, you know what you're getting. And she's also bringing a full-grown pig named Dexter.
All right, we're gonna go this weekend.
I've always wanted an indoor potbelly pig.
Yeah, Josh and
My wife was cool with it, but we never did it.
I tell you, one time I was coming home, and there's a house around the block and down the street on a corner from us. And as I was coming up, I saw their German Shepherd like tearing around that front yard, and chasing it was a pig.
No.
And this pig was just like, whoo, whoo, whoo. It was the funniest looking thing. I mean, they were playing, but you never saw, until you've seen a pig like run full out. That's one of the funniest things in the world.
That's a no for me, dog.
So you're getting a pig on Saturday, taking home a piglet. Got it.
No, but they're both thrilled now.
What's not to love?
Do we know what time they're supposed to be there?
10 o'clock. Yeah, she's going to be set up and selling snow cones as a fundraiser. Her the mini pig rescue is called something like the Albie Einswine Foundation. So instead of Albert Einstein, yeah, she's big on the puns.
They could have went with R.L. Swine.
Oh, that would give me goosebumps.
All right.
That was good.
Justin, you can't leave. We barely started talking.
Whoa.
We'll
I'll let you talk him out of it.
He's not a fan of puns.
Yeah, that ran him right off.
He's also not a fan of goodbyes.
All right. So Justin told us what he thinks about Heroes Con. That if you like any aspect of comic books, it's at Heroes Con. Writers, artists, creators of all kinds, original art, high dollar books, dollar books, anything in between, it's all there. So it's a celebration of all things comics and what's not to love. I think, Dustin, you kind of shared a similar take on that.
So this was my second year going.
Oh, he's back.
No more puns, I promise.
They're not punny at all, Dustin.
So Justin last year when we left Lexington had already convinced me that I needed to go to Heroes Con. And I was like, I don't know. Like, that's pretty close to, not far away. I don't know if I'll, be able to do that. And I was like, it's a Comic-Con, it's one show, you've seen them all. And he explained to me how wrong I was. So I went, and, my crew that lives down the road from me, they were going. So I was like, all right, I'll go check it out. And when I walked on the showroom floor with Justin, and he'd already told me, he said, just prepare yourself when we walk through the door here. Just take a breath and take it in, and don't get overwhelmed. And I'm like, dude, I got it. I've been to a comic conventions before.
Yeah, so I said that, and the very next thing I did was, so you actually have to go down escalators to get onto the show floor, but there are windows that you can look down onto the show floor before you get in. So after I told him, now, this is going to be overwhelming at first, I took him up to the windows so that he could see the show floor and how big it was and the amount of vendors. Yeah. And that was on Thursday, right? We picked our badges up on Thursday?
No, Friday. I didn't make it Thursday last year.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm looking out, and I mean, all I can see is just what's through this window, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. And I didn't really take in that all I'm looking at are literally comic book vendors, But once we walk into the showroom floor, I mean, I was so taken back at how enormous this showroom floor was, and the fact that it was all just comic books. I didn't have to hunt for the comic vendors. At that point, my biggest, a lot of times that's the big thing is like, where's the comic booths? At this one, it's how am I going to see them all? And easily was the best show I'd ever been to.
That's the most threatening thing I've ever. Too bad for you. I just subscribed to your YouTube channel.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
hoping to go to Heroes next year because I've never been to it. I couldn't go this year because I was in Nashville with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to go check it out next year.
Well,
Yeah,
Justin's
yeah.
hotel room is always open. There's plenty of floor space, and a free ride with me. So
Well,
if I go again.
I'm old and fat. I don't sleep on the floor. I'll get my own hotel room and I'll split gas with you.
Well, here's this though. I slept with Dustin. You could snuggle up with Justin. He sleeps just like this with his head straight up, and he doesn't even move. So there's plenty of room.
You guys are acting like I don't get dibs on Alan. I got
Okay.
Alan.
No offense, Justin, but I think Dustin's a little cuter. I might be sleeping with him.
Okay, so first off, if I'm picking up the room, if I'm paying for the room, I don't share a bed. Like that's the rule.
But what if I wear my matching Nightwing shirt? Because I got one just like that.
Well, to be fair, Justin, even when we picked the room up, we didn't make you share the bed. I mean, like, I think the general consensus is like, if Justin's there, he gets his own bed.
I mean, I kind of am a superstar.
Yeah. Which we have recognized on every Comic-Con and adventure trip we've taken out of probably the 5 or 6.
CJ,
Dude, this is my channel, bro.
No, I think he's talking about me.
Oh, this is your channel too.
Yeah, I do have a channel, but I do all my videos and stuff on the Haven channel. So, I mean, you can subscribe to Breed Love Asylum if you want to, but I don't ever post anything there.
You can also get some awesome Haven Comics stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you just feel like really, I saw that Nick was representing at Heroes, so that was cool.
Both days. Yeah.
Both days? I didn't know that.
I sent you 2 pictures.
I didn't know they were from different days. How would I know?
That's okay. He almost left one of them sitting on the floor of the hotel room. He almost shipped out of town and left it on the floor.
No.
I'm telling you.
But so when we got back last year from Heroes, I was talking to my buddy Jeff, and we were both just blown away and still sitting there thinking like, Jesus, we were not prepared for this show. So, I mean, my group of buddies that's down here, I mean, we literally spent the entire year mentally and financially preparing for this weekend. I mean, we bought 3 or 4 booth spaces. One of our buddies puts up a wall. We rented 2 couches, had couches set up, had a table and chair set up so that, you know, you go buy your stuff, you come back, chill out, grab a drink, sit down, and everybody can sit there and show all the stuff they picked up. You know, if you have friends that come over, somewhere to sit down and talk. But
wait, you rented booth space?
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 booth spaces that we rented, and 2 of them was for our buddy Bobby to put up a wall and sell comics, and the other 2 was for us to have couches that we put in and table and chairs and somewhere to keep, you know, all of our stuff so that we have somewhere to bring the books back to, somewhere to chill out and hang out. So yeah, we went all out for Heroes, and it's just going to get bigger every year. But
we need to do that for the Huntsville Expo.
Yeah,
I know the guy.
But I mean, I was so serious about this show, and I told Josh about this. Outside of my Power Rangers comics, my Mortal Kombat comics, and a very select few others, I sold everything. All my big books. I mean, I kept my Walking Dead 1, my Neil Adams Batman, the Golden Age Pirate Batman I just picked up.
Speaking of pirates, I know your thing with pirates and pirate cover books and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys have met him, but Rob Young, who owns Borderlands Comics and Games in Greenville, South Carolina. Phenomenal dude. Phenomenal.
I talked to him at South Carolina Comic Con.
He's going to be here in Huntsville this weekend.
Okay.
And he's coming by Haven on Saturday. And he messaged me and he said, is there anything you're looking for that if I've got it, you want me to bring with me? And I said, if you got any old, like Golden Age, Silver Age books with pirates, bring them. And he's like, okay. He doesn't even question anymore. He's like, oh, okay, I can do that. So I'll see what he brings. I don't know if he's going to bring anything or not, but that's what I told him. So if you
Awesome.
got Golden Age or Silver Age books with pirates, you bring them on.
Awesome. For sure.
Speaking
Yeah,
of which, are you
I
looking
was.
forward to Godzilla versus Pirates or what?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think issue 1 and 2's already come out, or issue 1's come
Just
out, but I
one.
haven't been to the shop to pick them up yet. But yeah, I already pre-ordered all of them, so I'm once they all come out, I'll sit down and read through them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Well, I'm
Here
glad
there
you
be
said that
monsters.
because you hardly ever talk about picking up new books anymore. So I was going to buy a copy of it and just send it to you.
Yeah, this will be the first one I've picked up in probably about a year now. So once Stillwater ended, I mean that was the last one on my pull list that I was reading. So I've just been so focused on the pressing and cleaning and picking this other stuff up, and literally just so focused on just making sure that I'm ready whenever Heroes came around. I mean I wanted to walk in there, and if I saw a book I wanted, I didn't have to walk away like I did at Lexington and just be just absolutely shattered inside because I saw something that I had to have and had to leave it there. So and that's the thing about Heroes Comic Con. If you can't walk into Heroes Comic Con and find 100 books that you get that gets you excited, then I don't even know, you know, what it's going to take to get your comic genitalia excited, because I mean there's nothing that you're not going to find there. And there's literally nothing you're not going to find there. If you like modern books, they have modern books. They have back issue modern books. They have new modern books. They have the variants for modern books. They have exclusive for modern books. If you like Bronze Age, they have the Bronze Age. You know, for modern, you can find newsstands for modern books that you didn't even know had newsstands. Batman Detective Comics 883. I saw a newsstand copy of that book. I had no idea there was even a newsstand copy of that book. I saw one of those. If you're into Golden Age, you like good girl art, they got good girl art. You like pre-code, they got pre-code. You like romance, you like Dell 4-color, you like cartoons. It doesn't matter, man. There is literally going to be a little bit of any and everything that you want there. And I mean, hell, I say a little bit. I mean, there's going to be enough of it there that you can.
Amount of
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
want.
I mean, you can't see it all. You can't see it all. You know, I had to make a choice of how I was going to attack it this year. I literally had my iPad and screenshot the map of the floor, and I outlined the route I was going to take to hit all the boosts, because last year I spent 3 days there and didn't get to see all the boosts. This year I was there for 4 days and I got to see all the booths, but I didn't dig at every booth. I was trying to be very strategic about, you know, if I was going to dig, I was only going to be looking for this and this and this. And you know, that allowed me to actually see everything this year. I definitely didn't have the feeling that I regretted not being able to go to this booth, or, you know, I didn't, you know, pick up this book. Like, as far as the comics go, I was extremely happy with the stuff I picked up. I picked up probably 60 books, and I was extremely happy with all of them. I'll show a couple of them here in a second, but as far as the comic side of things goes, you know, I got a really, really awesome sketch cover done by my buddy Brian Silverbacks, and we got that submitted to CGC. So that was super, super awesome to get that done. I've been wanting to get it done with him for a couple of months now. He doesn't live far from me. I can drive to him anytime, but I had to find a sketch cover that was going to work.
Dude,
so
all you have
finally
to do
did
is
that.
call him and tell him, hey, let's go get some nachos, man. That dude
Yeah.
will show up.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we're like, we don't even probably live 30 minutes away from each other. So
I mean, yeah, meet for nachos, 15 minutes in between.
Mhm.
You're all set. Speaking of which, how much are you loving what he's doing with those watercolors?
Oh yeah, it's good.
It's like he found another gear.
Yeah. Brian is multi-talented. Absolutely. I mean,
and if he can take what he's doing with those watercolors and kind of get real comfortable with that and merge that with what his traditional line art, he might be onto something. I think that could be pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll show a couple of books I picked up. You know, I think the biggest regret I had this year was I didn't take enough pictures with people that I met there, people that I saw there and hung out with. I spent so much time just with the comics. You know, I didn't spend as much time with the people as I wanted to. I spent more time this year than I did last year, though, which was very good. So, but my buddy, I don't know if he's still in the chat, Geek Out with Roscoe, He had some art that he had done, and he pulled it out one night when we were at dinner, and I had to pick some of this up. I showed this on Instagram. My son loves the Wet Bandits from Home Alone. So
well, it's not to love. I love all the little details, like the lines from the iron on his face, and I love his hair burned off from the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The tooth missing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
I mean, there was no way I could leave this there. Once I saw it, I'm like, there's nobody going to appreciate this more than my 8-year-old son. So I picked that up. And then this is something Nick and I both used to love when we were kids. Johnny Bravo. And he turned Johnny Bravo into Terminator. And it just is perfect. I mean, you literally can't think of anything that would merge better with Johnny Bravo than the Terminator, the way he did it. It's perfect. So picked those up from him. And then he did this sketch cover. He did this sketch cover that I loved. Bowser as Thanos.
That was him that did that. I saw your picture of this, but I didn't know who did. I love the glove as the freaking power glove. That was a selling point for me. Absolutely. Absolute genius.
Wait a minute, who did that sketch cover?
So it's Geek Out with Roscoe. He's in the chat. My buddy Roscoe.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic, man. Fantastic. So
that's a good sense of humor right there. That's some pretty clever stuff.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love it, man. So I've never picked up any of his art before, so I was like, I've got this guy in person. He's pulling this stuff out at dinner, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta have this one. I gotta have this. I mean, he had some other ones I wanted, but I had to pick these up for sure. So I was able to pick up. They do have everything at Heroes. So the last 2 Mortal Kombat issues for Battle Wave that I was missing. So I officially now have every single a copy of every single issue of any Mortal Kombat comic ever printed. While I'm still working on the 9/8, that was the last 2 issues that I did not have. So
okay, so I got a question for you, and I'm not trying to bust on you or anything, because I know everybody's got their own thing. What was it about Mortal Kombat that drew you in the way that it did?
The art. I love the art. As soon as I started seeing the books and I saw the art, I mean, because I didn't play the games heavily as a kid. I've never been a video game kid, but Mortal Kombat was huge when I was a kid. I remember when it came out, how big of a deal it was. But the art inside these comics is just huge to me. I love it. In fact, I love the art so much. This was not a Heroes haul, and I haven't showed it on my channel, but I love the art so much. I stalked and tracked down the artist for he did 90% of the interior and cover art for all the Mortal Kombat stuff in the 90s. And I've been buying his original art from him. So this is the concept art for the character Goro.
Oh, wow.
They told him that they wanted to change the way Goro looked from the video game, kind of told him what they wanted. He drew this up and presented it to them. And that's what they went with. And at first I thought it was an unpublished piece, but it is indeed published in the back. I've seen that
before,
yeah. So this is the original art for that. I have a full published page of Sub-Zero versus fighting Scorpion in the other room that I'm going to get framed. And I just finished paying off another published full page from Raiden versus Kano from him. So it was absolutely the art. The art in those comics is what drew me in 100%.
I've got something coming at the shop that you're going to need.
Okay.
It's a Raiden statue.
Okay, right on.
It looks pretty sweet.
Okay, yeah.
The way they've got all the electrical stuff just kind of all flayed. It's a pretty sweet looking statue. I saw that it was on discount. Pretty steep discount. So I saw that and I said, if I ever met anybody who would like this statue and would like be cool with the price that it's going to sell for, I know a guy. So I went ahead and ordered it. If you don't like it, obviously it looks cool. I'm cool with it being on the shelf, but I thought of you when I bought it.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely let me know. So I picked up this Aquaman here. This is Aquaman 45. This is the last 12-cent issue of Aquaman. But I know that Nick and I have both talked about, I don't know if you guys have heard us talking about wanting to pick up some of these early Nick Cardy Aquaman covers. I said it before, sometimes an artist it just gets paired up with a character, and it just is magical. You've got Neil Adams and Batman. You got Cap and Kirby, Aquaman and Nick Cardy. It just works, and they're beautiful. There's a guy there that brings nothing but raw books, and they're very expensive. Now, normally, this book would be like maybe a $30 book. I paid almost $200 for this book because every single book he has is tip-top shape. This is a 9.8 candidate, 100% 9.8 candidate. I mean, so for me, at the price, yeah, it's steep, but for the last 12-cent issue, and it's such a beautiful cover, and if you hit a 9.6, 9.8 on it, like, that price you pay for the raw cover doesn't matter. And I promised you guys some awesome Neil Adams World's Finest. This is my favorite World's Finest cover. This is my favorite Neil Adams cover. Again, paid close to $200 for this. I bought a decent copy of this book at South Carolina Comic Con for $30. This one I paid the same amount for this one as I did the Aquaman. And again, it is a 100% 9.8 candidate. And like I said, this is, if Neil Adams were still alive, this is a book that I would send to him 100% because this is my favorite cover he's ever done. I love it. All right, now I'm kind of going down like Justin did towards the bigger books. So
nice hat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My buddy Ali gave me this. I was at his house and it was just sitting up on one of his shelves, and I kind of went nuts about it.
You need one of these.
I do. Someone should definitely toss me a hat because I would definitely rock the Haven hat. I don't know which one of these to go with here. I think I'm going to go with the one. Okay, that one I think is probably a more scarce find. So we're going to throw the Turtles one in a little early.
Which printing is that?
This is a third printing. And the reason why I bought another one is because I wanted to get, after Turtles books dropped in price, I wanted to upgrade. And I want to work towards the first print. So the first steps in that is getting into 9.6, 9.8 territory on a third print. This has definitely got the legs for that. So definitely the most beautiful third print I've ever seen. And so I had to pick this up. It is absolutely nearly flawless. So that was an awesome pickup. This one was my last pickup of the show. And this one.
Oh, that's a classic issue.
It almost could be the one that I was the most excited to find because I didn't look at a ton of these, but you know how this book is, Josh. You see them all the time. It's not a rare book, but to find one in high grade, you know, most of the copies you see are going to be like a 6.0 or lower.
Yeah, we got like a 4.5 graded on the wall at the store.
Yeah, and even in like a 4.0, raw copies are $100 or so. This has got legs for 8.0 or better, and I got an extremely good deal on this. I would have paid whatever they asked for it because I've been just looking for a high grade copy of that, and it just goes back to the fact that when I bought my first copy of it, I read that copy and fell in love with the story. Absolutely loved it. So
that's a classic story. That's a great one.
Oh yeah, we talked about the pirate covers. This is one that I had to have. I've been looking for it. You got this awesome Redbeard the pirate here. Freaking awesome pink cover. It's got a little date stamp there. And I mean, it's H.G. Peter, Wonder Woman number 20 from like 1944 or something like that. But it's a beautiful copy. Absolutely.
During World War II. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're fighting on the pirate ship. It's just an absolutely beautiful copy of this book. So I pretty much got that book for $85. So sweet. That was quite the deal on that one because it's probably, I think when I looked it up, it's like an $800 book. So I did very well on that one.
See, books like that have always fascinated me from that era. And the reason being is they didn't look at comic books then the way we do now.
Mm-mm.
So there's a story about that comic book about how it survived all these years that we will never know. And I've always found that fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I mean, the shape that this is in is just It's not even right, man. It's unreal for sure. I'm going to show this one. This was probably the most unexpected pickup. And originally I bought this as a project book. Exciting Comics issue number 60. Beautiful, beautiful Alex Schomburg airbrushed cover here.
See, I like any cover with sharks. I don't know why.
I'm the same way.
I love them.
I picked up a copy of that Donald Duck shark cover, the Dell Comics.
Yes,
I got a really, really nice copy of that. And when I saw this Schomburg cover, I worked a deal to where I got a 9.4 Star Wars 2 for free with it. So, but this
that's just
beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful copy of this book, 1948. And it's definitely got room to bump and grade. This spine on this, I mean, it's a 6.5, but this spine doesn't have a color breaking tick on it anywhere. The thing that got this book is the amount of tanning on the back cover. And this book is valuable enough that I'm going to definitely take a shot at seeing if I can increase the grade. And originally that was the whole point of buying that one, is I was going to crack it, work on it, and try to resell it. But I look at that book every day, and it just gets harder and harder to think about letting it go. So, and the last book I'll show is the big one. This is the one that I talked about earlier, that when I was at Lexington, I didn't have the money for it, and I left just absolutely shattered inside. This guy was at Lexington, and he came back. He was at Heroes. He still had this book, Weird Terror number 2. Awesome, awesome pirate cover. You got this big green octopus coming out of the treasure chest. You have the pirate shoving the hook hand in the guy's chest. And it's the second highest grade on the census, 6.5. So 1952. Fantastic. Loved that I was able to pick up the exact copy that I did not get to buy at Lexington. And the guy didn't even remember who I was until I asked for the book. I said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "No." I said, "From Lexington." He said, "Sorry." I was like, "Well, when I asked for the book off the wall that I'm about to ask for, you'll remember me." As soon as I did, he started laughing.
That right there is a Schomburg cover.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Schomburg's cap was...
The best thing, I mean, there's 11 different characters on this cover. 11 different people. Background people, bad guys, Cap and Bucky, cops, all kind of stuff. And then there's all this thing, like Cap is stomping this dude's face while he's punching the other guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you count the people and then you count all the guns, there's this like a spare gun just laying on the floor. Like, who did that belong to? No idea. But that right there, it's a Schomburg cover, and it's an Alan Bell interior art. So it's the best of both worlds. It's everything I wanted in a book. What are we about to get a proctological exam here?
No, I just remembered I had, and I'm sorry to be taking so long, but you guys know how I am at this point. I mean,
us too.
I that's what I just said.
I was just agreeing.
I can't help
with
it,
you.
man. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Gloves on, and I was like,
I love this shit, man. I love these books.
Take the gloves off.
Yeah, I feel like we're about to get an exam of some sort.
Like, I'm not 50 yet. Take the gloves off.
I will tell you this too, though, real quick. Y'all know I have the Thor statue at the shop. We've got the Thor statue at the shop, but the Silver Surfer statue has been impossible to get. I finally got it coming.
Nice.
So I'm going to have this cover represented in statue form, and I am so excited about that. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, man. I love that book. That's on my list. I want us to try to get like an 8.0 or a 9.0 on it for sure.
Well, I tell you, I've got a guy who I'm about to buy a big collection from.
Okay.
He's an old customer, and he's just getting out of it. He's got an incredible run of Thor in Journey into Mystery. I'm talking like 2 or 3 comic long boxes.
Wow.
Just Thor.
Wow.
But he's also got a complete run of Silver Surfer.
Okay.
And this is a dude who takes care of his comics. I don't know what grade his number 4 is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a high grade.
Okay. Well, let me know. let me know. So the last one I'm going to show here, this was on the shelf. The guy that sold me the TMNT #1, I didn't even see it until the next day. But, and I took the gloves off for a reason because I have to take it out of the bag of board. TMNT 30. Josh, are you familiar with this at all? Before I told you about it?
Hard to find TMNT book right there.
Yeah, this series started in 2002. Issue 1 came out. This series didn't finish up till 2016, and it was only 32 issues long.
That's like Battle Chasers.
Yeah. By the time they got to issue 30 here, they only printed 1,000 of them. But so this is like one of the most sought after books for Turtles fans. But the biggest thing about it is Peter Laird took a very, very minuscule amount of these books off the press randomly. And he did a huge sketch in the back of them. And then they were randomly distributed. 2009, randomly distributed. So this book right here,
now, did
I
you
don't
know
care.
That was in there when you bought it? Did the guy selling it know that was in there?
I did, and actually I got mad at the guy because I was on the showroom floor every day an hour before everybody else was, and so I was just walking around and I happened to notice it because I was going to look at
that because you bought booth space.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That'll do it. That's worth it. That's worth it right there.
That's the only reason we did it. So, but I was going to look at a Power Rangers toy from the 90s, and that booth wasn't open yet. The guys weren't there, and I saw this walking back, so I stood there for an hour waiting for them to get there because I wasn't going to let somebody else walk up and grab this. So for an hour, I'm sitting there wondering, is the sketch in there? Is the sketch in there? Am I going to flip to the back and the sketch is going to be there? And then I'm like, well, no, I know my luck. Like, there's no way with my crap luck that sketch is going to be in there. So they finally get there. I let them get set up. He asked me if I need to see anything, and he said, "Oh, you're the Turtles guy." I said, "Yeah." I said, "So why didn't you tell me about that one?" He goes, and he literally turns around. And he goes, "Oh yeah, it's got the sketch in it." I was like, "You son of a bitch!" I was like, "You just robbed me of flipping to the back of that and being just absolutely amazed that it was in there. Thank you so much." He's like, "So you don't want to see it?" I said, "I want to take it home." He was like, "Well, and told me the price." I said, "I don't care how much it costs, dude." I said, there'll never be another one of those that lands in front of my face again with the sketch on it.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I told him, I said, the only Turtles book that's more rare than that one is number 29 with the sketch in the back. And that's the one that homages the dogs playing poker painting.
Yep.
He goes, "Oh, I've got that one at the house with the sketch in it." I was like, okay, I need cards, numbers, something, because I said, "Where are you at?" He said, "Lexington." I said, "Cool." I said, "Is it for sale?" He said, "Yeah." And he told me the price. I said, "All right, give me your card. When we get back in town and both of us get settled in, we'll make arrangements. I'm coming to you to pick this book up." So 2 weeks from now, we're going to go to Knoxville Expo, take my son there. Then we're driving straight to Lexington, get a hotel room the next morning. We're going to Toy Vomit, and I'm going to pick that book up in person. So, but yeah, I mean, when I saw that book, I was like, I don't care if somebody picks up AF-15. I don't care if somebody picks up freaking Action 1. I don't care. I win. There's not a more rare book in here than this in my eyes. And as a Turtle fan, that's the book.
You all won.
Exactly.
Ain't no losers in this.
There's not. You know, just being at the show makes, you know, if you don't walk in there and be like, I don't know, man. It like I told you, man, there's something about it when I walk into that show that it's just magical, man. And that sounds like really goofy. Yeah, I know it sounds goofy, but I mean, it literally
I get it.
It does something inside of me, and I just, man. And when it's over, like it hurts, man. It hurts.
Let's hear the flip side of this, because I get the impression that was not Nick's takeaway from this show. We have to get Nick out of whatever he's reading.
I'm looking at the computer screen. I'm not reading anything.
You're just staring off at dead space. Okay, because you looked really intent.
Well, Nick has heard all of this like twice already now, so he's just sick of it.
Well, you went to Heroes. What was your takeaway? Because you didn't seem all that excited about it.
I mean, if we're gonna rank it like 1 through 10, we're talking like 4.5 at best.
Oh, that's a pretty drastically different opinion. So what's other than just whatever?
The number of brothers attached to our YouTube channel has just been reduced by 1.
Well, I was disappointed in Pop Bellies.
Oh my god, dude!
Pop
Get
Bellies
the
are
hell
really
out
good.
of here.
The ramen noodles were great ramen.
What does that have to do with the show? Let's talk about the show.
Oh no! In all honesty, no, it was absolutely incredible. If we're being honest, it like I told them, I said it kind of desensitizes you to everything else in the comic book world, right? Because you walk in, and I think literally I saw probably 16, 17 copies of AF-15. Some places had 4 or 5 each. Honestly, there might have been 20 plus. So now that I'm thinking about it, I saw Tech 27 in like a 4.5, 181 in a 9.8. I mean, it just literally you turn around and boom, $100,000 book, boom, $40,000 book in stacks, and so it kind of desensitizes you a little bit, I think, to how awesome some of those are, right? Because I remember the first con I went to and saw an AF-15, I'm like, and it was the only one in the show. I'm like, oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah, they had 2 copies of this.
Yeah, and then here I am standing 6 feet away from 5 of them, right? Or, standing between me and a pane of glass between, a mid-grade Tech 27, right? I mean, I don't even, what is that, like a couple $1 million book or something?
Mm-hmm. Did you see the 9.9 Cap 100?
I did not see that, but that's not as cool as a Tech 27. But it was funny because Justin goes, "Oh, look, there's a 9.8 Hulk 181 sitting right next to a Tech 27." I'm like, you don't see the detective.
Damn the 181. Who gives a damn about Wolverine? That's the first Batman right there, dude. You better pay your respects.
I was like, and the guy behind the counter just started laughing at him. I was like, yeah, cool, $100,000 book, awesome.
Freaking Marvel guys, I
$1 million book, and he just started because it didn't even. But again, it's kind of one of those things where, like, that's probably the only book I've never seen. That book in real life, I've never seen Cap 1 in real life, and I've never seen a Marvel 1 in real life. But other than that, like, that show has everything.
Did you see the Action 1?
No,
there was 2 of them there. I didn't get to go see it either, and I didn't see it last year. But I know I Jeff and them saw them. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the one that I wished I would have been able to see. But I mean, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, like I said, I know we didn't walk around very much, so I was hoping you'd get to, go see some of these like just monsters that are there that you just
Justin
aren't going to see it
up and down every aisle. So if I didn't see it, it was just by mistake.
I mean, when I saw Punch Comics #1 twice at that show, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah, that's not one you see.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I bought a T-shirt with it on there because I was so amazed. There was 3 copies of the Mask #1 there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crazy, dude.
That's incredible.
We had a Mask 1 on our wall, but I mean, the fact that you see 3 of them in 2 Punch Comics, and like Nick said, I mean, a Tech 27. I don't care who you are, that's impressive.
So, did you happen to see the price tag on the Tech 27?
No, it was behind glass and like a big glass case, and it was all the big books kind of lined up. They were a auction house showing them off, so I don't think they were necessarily for sale, but it was certainly that
just
was
putting it on the table.
Was there a Marvel 1 there? Maybe I missed that one, but again, it kind of turned into like I just started seeing all these big books, and it was kind of like, okay, well. Kind of like I said, the only way I know how to describe it is like desensitizing it to. I mean, the Fantastic Four ones that were there, there had to be 50 or 60 copies hanging on these people's walls.
And Trey and them had how many?
Huh?
I mean, I said, yeah, Trey and them had how many?
Yeah.
I mean, he had like 8 copies of FF5. I mean,
wow, and Raw too. So
it was you haven't got one of those away from him yet.
By Christmas.
So, Nick, did you find the biggest FF book of them all? Did you pick up an FF11?
I saw one for $800. It looked beautiful, but there was no way for $800 I was paying for it.
Did you pick up anything though?
I picked up a ton of books. I just put them back.
I was getting so frustrated with him. I almost bought him a $750 copy of The First Impossible Man just so I knew he went home with something.
Well, so we saw the same Impossible Man book then, probably, because that's about how much this one was. It was beautiful. But to me, I mean, those books, like that's a book I'd like to spend like under $200 on, beat up copy that looks good.
Coffee, a beat up coffee.
Yeah,
Were
coffee.
you from Boston?
Like coffee.
You're gonna park your
I
car in
almost
the
picked up
yard.
a FF50, but then basically what he was asking, it was $200. But with the FF50, I mean, between 1.8 to like a 4.5, it's like a $30 difference if you look at the last 15, 20 sales between like 180 to 220, 230. So I'm like, well, I could just buy that off eBay right now if I wanted to for a 4.5 for $200. I'm not going to, because I'd rather just buy it in person somewhere. But yeah, there was nothing there that really.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Holy
Avengers
crap.
1 was just
I mean, I mean,
just a throwaway book.
yeah. I mean, our buddies, Dangerously Terrific, had literally 18 copies of 129, ASM 129. They had like 10, 11 copies of Avengers 1. I mean, the dealers for this show, they will put everything out there. They're not going to bring everything to every show, but I feel like with these dealers, like a lot of the big, you get some of the biggest and best dealers as far as the quality of books.
Oh, absolutely.
In the country show up here, and I feel like it's all a pissing contest between them, which is great for us because we get to walk up and see a 15-foot booth full of any grade raw copy of any major key you would ever want. I mean, you have dealers that only deal in graded books, and you have dealers that only deal in raw books. And the raw books guys have the same books that the guys with the graded stuff has. And sometimes that's even more impressive than seeing the graded stuff, because you see that there's still copies of Fantastic Four #1 out there, and X-Men #1 and FF5 that are not graded. You see them graded all the time, but to see a raw copy, that's depending on the book, like that's something. And it just, I don't know, man.
Did you guys meet Lauren Becker? Does that name ring any bells? He's up in the Wisconsin area.
What's the name of his booth? Do you know?
I don't remember. I'd have to check. But he comes back from shows all the time, and he has like the weirdest crap that he picks up that I never knew that they made. And you're like,
is he a tall, bald guy?
No.
Okay.
No, but he is able to acquire things that just don't make sense, like from both a comic perspective and from toys and collectibles and things. Like the very first Superman toys that ever existed. He's got like 7 of those, and how he finds that stuff is just beyond me.
Yeah.
But he's the guy that I got that Cap 48 from.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the only show that he leaves that Midwest area to go to, and he makes that 12, 13-hour drive to come to Heroes.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to do it for any other show, but for Heroes, I'll do it.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to. When's the last time? When do you ever see this one in high grade?
Not real often, but I do see that one in high grade every now and again.
Do you? Okay. I mean, dude, I've been looking for like over a year for just over an 8.0. I would have been happy. And that one right there, funny enough, a guy that is here in Atlanta, and he goes to our quarterly Atlanta show all the time. He just picked up a stupid high grade Swamp Thing collection. That was the only book left of it. And he said it was in the wrong box. He said somebody must have hid that book in another box to come back and get it. And I was like, well, they're going to be pissed at me because I've been looking for it and I'm taking it home.
Hey, CJ, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. Glad to have you on. So you don't miss it. Next week, we're going to have comic creator John Ostrander on the show.
Yep.
So wrote darn near every Star Wars book you can think of at some point or another. Batman, Detective, created Suicide Squad back in the day. Peacemaker. I mean, he's written so many comics. And he's going to be on the show next Thursday. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. We've had some pretty rocking guests on this show.
Yeah.
And having those guys come on, the creators come on the show is always really interesting. Some of them have been awesome. Some of them have been I get texts during the whole time they're talking from Nick, who's like, dude, this guy is nuts.
I'm not going to name names, but one of them specifically was rough. He cracked me up, though. At first, I thought he was funny, and then I was like, oh, no, he really is this way.
Well, yeah, we were told, and I knew he had a reputation for being kind of out there a little bit, but we were told at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo when we were talking to Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends, we said this guy's coming on the show. And Tom DeFalco, you could see he was weighing like, how do I say this?
We weren't told. We were warned.
Well, yeah. But here's what he said. He said, like, okay, so this guy has spent a really long time. He's crafted this persona that he feels like he has to live up to. If you can get past the first initial barrage of that persona, there's a cool guy in there. But you got to get past that initial barrage. And he did. He hit us right out of the gate. He blew our PG-13 rating out of the water in literally the first 10 seconds. And I don't mean like he just barely like put a hole in the water.
He jumped in there and
he just destroyed it. Yeah, it was like fire.
You guys' faces
torpedoes.
was very entertaining to watch during that.
Oh, I bet it was, because we're like, we want to say something, but we can't get a word in edgewise. And also, this is kind of hilarious and kind of horrifying.
There was a couple of times where my hand was inching toward the mouse. I was about to kill it. I was about to just blow him the hell off. But then I was sitting there thinking, okay, Josh isn't saying anything, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And, but yeah, there was a couple of times I wanted to kick him off bad.
He had some interesting things to say, and his thoughts about the medium are very interesting.
Yeah, especially for someone who put so much work into it.
Yeah, you can't deny his. He makes his money and he has his persona that he created, all that crap, for a reason, right? And this is what he does, and he's very good at it. I found it interesting that Marvel used to bring him in to teach rookies, like, this is the comic book page. This is how you should use it. You need to take advantage of all the freedom that it offers you. Don't just give us the same box, talking head. Be creative.
Yeah.
Do things with it. And like, they had to teach. He had to have him come in to teach them that, and I thought that was interesting.
You know who we need to try to have on the show by December?
Who?
Kirkman.
Santa Claus?
Robert Kirkman?
Yep. We need to try to get him.
I'll reach out.
He did do a promo for a certain other garbage place.
He did a promo for a whole lot of stores. He did one for every store that ordered an inordinate amount of Void Rivals #1.
Oh.
Well, I just want to tell him how good Walking Dead was.
Did we lose your video on purpose, Dustin?
Yeah, sorry. My wife came in here for a second to give me something.
He's got his wiener out.
Yeah, we need to try to get him on the show.
Wrong brother there, Nick.
Well, I mean, he does have the gloves on. We need to try to get him on the show so we can talk about this shared universe.
You know what? I'll reach out to him. Worst he can do is let me know.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him. I'd love to have him on here because he's a big G.I. Joe fan. Personally, from back in the day. I'll be interested to see why he thinks the Transformers make the most sense as the connective tissue of this universe. I mean, they're calling it the Energon universe, which tells you right there what he thinks is the connective tissue between them. But I'm curious as to how he arrived.
I wonder if it has anything to do with. Well, I don't want to spoil it.
You talking about the movies?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it does. It's going to.
Dude, I flipped out when I saw that.
So, did you hear the backstory on that?
It wasn't supposed to be even be G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
I just got excited for first people I thought of was my buddy Jeff and my buddy Josh.
Yeah, I got a text so fast. What is Nick?
And I was like, oh my God, please bring back Channing Tatum, please.
Oh,
no,
God.
we need to go up. I gotta go help put Ellie to bed. I just got a text. So thank you guys.
Well, before you jump off,
okay.
What was your favorite thing about Heroes, and what was the thing that you were like, ugh, I don't ever want to see that again?
Pork bellies and the ramen.
Hate you.
Which one was that, favorite or not favorite?
Pork bellies was least favorite. Ramen was the favorite.
Okay.
No, I
Next year I want to
honestly,
make
there was
more
no
time.
negatives about the show itself at Heroes. I mean, nothing. The price to get in was great because I was a vendor, and yeah, like literally, there was not a single negative thing about Heroes. I highly recommend everybody go.
Yeah, I hated I didn't get to walk around the floor with more people, but I really hate that I missed the opportunity to walk around with Nick on his first trip here, and as we're and look at these big books together and like have that experience like I had last year and be able to like see how he reacted because Justin was with me last year the whole time and he was just getting a kick out of me flipping out left and right.
There probably wasn't much reaction like everything.
You're right. You're an emotionless rock.
I probably like you can ask Justin. I probably was just like, well, okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah, look, that's an old book.
Yeah. All right, we'll be there Saturday morning for some piggies.
Awesome. Yeah, come and pet a pig.
Say it.
Have a good one, brother.
No, there was a thing that come out that said that extra scene where he hands him the card and it's the G.I. Joe logo and everything. Up until about a month before the movie released, that was not on the card. Something totally different was on the card. It was in just like within the last month and a half, maybe 2 months, that they got permission to do G.I. Joe and all the deals fell into place.
You know what I felt like should have been on that card? Because it would fit so well if you're going to do a crossover with Transformers, is you remember the old toy line Mask?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That would fit so well with Transformers.
I feel like that would,
right?
but I feel like that would be too close to the same medium, though. Like, I feel like you have to have like something that's going to be just different enough, but I don't know. I think G.I. Joe kind of works. I mean, they use the tanks and the heavy artillery. Well, what better heavy artillery could you ask for than freaking Optimus Prime? I mean, come on.
You don't need G.I. Joe at that point. You just have the robots. You don't need the people. The people.
I disagree. They have needed people in every movie because Optimus Prime is just a dumb prick in every movie. He makes bad decisions and he's a total prick. And I still love him, but they have made him out to be that way in every movie. And the people are who saves him. So when you make that person Joe, I'm like, okay, you know what? Somebody's in trouble. And Josh, you need to watch this movie, but if you haven't already, because I'm telling you, when you see the Autobots, for the first time, when you see the Autobots and how they look, you're like, oh, finally, that's them. That's the Autobots.
They look real. They don't look like Michael Bay.
No. It's not that, dude. They look original to the comics.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. It's not a big Peterbilt Optimus Prime. It looks like the real deal. No extended hood Optimus Prime. I mean, they look legit. And I was a big fan of the Beast Wars cartoon when I was a kid. So as soon as I heard we were getting Optimus Primal coming in here, that was all I cared about. I was like, that's all I need to see. I just need to see Optimus Primal. I want to see him on screen. And then I'm going to be happy as I can be. And they killed it with him, man. I liked all that. I don't care what anybody says. I've been an absolute huge fan of every single Transformers movie. I love them all. But I wasn't really big into I missed the boat on Transformers as far as the 80s go. I was born in 89, so I don't have that attachment. But, they could make a perfectly wonderful Power Rangers movie. But if I felt like it strayed too far away, if they took and put the Green Ranger in there and they didn't give him the gold shield, then there's going to be an uproar from me. So I totally get it. But as someone who was kind of like on the outside looking in, I thought they were all really good. I loved them all.
Bill, I would agree with you that last sentence stuff. But to be honest with you, the GI Joe and Transformers have always been money grabs. They've always been advertisements for toys. That was what they were originated to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they have transcended that to be something more than that and to be their own thing is really kind of remarkable. And that just speaks to the quality of the people who are doing it.
They've been together in comics since '88.
And I've hated it.
Really?
G.I. Joe and Transformers, there has only been one good crossover between them, and that was the kind of Elseworld story that came out, 10 years ago, 15 years, however long it was, that was set in kind of an alternate universe World War II. And the art was by Jay Lee. And brother, let me tell you, that was flipping amazing. That worked. Because it took it out and set it in a different world, and that whole kind of World War II setting gave them a really fun look for the Transformers, because they all looked more like Spitfires and Panzer tanks and things like that instead of the more modern looking things. So they were really cool. But there was a scene in that book, one of the more powerful scenes in comics. Is it ridiculous? Absolutely, it's stupid ridiculous, but it was amazing. Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are squaring off, and they're fighting each other, right? And it's not a great fight. Storm Shadow, like, literally just cuts Snake Eyes' face all to pieces. Because in this world, he doesn't have a ruined face yet, right? So in this world, that's how his face gets messed up. Is just Storm Shadow cuts his face to pieces, and before Snake Eyes manages to knock him off a cliff into the ocean, and you just see sharks everywhere, which is always, again, I love sharks. So you see the sharks, right? But Snake Eyes has got to get to the other side of this island to put a stop to this nonsense and save everybody, right? So he's running, and you can see what his thought process is. He's bleeding out because head wounds bleed a lot, and his face is just cut to pieces. And then just blood everywhere. And he's like, I'm not going to make it if I bleed out. And so as he's running, you see him take a couple of bullets out of his one of his bandoliers or whatever. He takes a few bullets out, and he pops the end caps off, and he's got the gunpowder in his hand. And while he's got the gunpowder in this hand, he flips it up into the air in front of him as he's running, and he lights it on fire as he's running through it, and he cauterizes his own face. And you're just like, oh my God.
I didn't even see that. I haven't never watched it.
I have a trade of this. I have a trade of this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had said something about the movie where they did Storm Shadow. I thought you were still talking about that. Okay.
No. This is comics. I have a trade. You can read it. It is phenomenal. It's the only Transformers G.I. Joe crossover I have ever liked. It's really, really good. It's top notch. But
so Josh,
it sounds like what you've done here, it sounds like is you've got me and Alan trying to see who is going to get to snuggle up with you as our teddy bear when we go.
That's exactly what I was about to get at. Is do I have you locked in for next year?
As of right now, I'm going to say that I'm about 90% locked in for next year, because in my hearing you talk and what you were saying, in my mind, I was picturing a very specific book, and I think that would probably be the place to get it, because I would have multiple copies to choose from. It's just a matter of setting that money aside over the.
Tell me what book it is, and I'll tell you right off the bat.
Oh, just based on what y'all are saying, I'm sure there's probably a lot of Daredevil ones there.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Avengers ones are toilet paper. Daredevil ones are Kleenex. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you guys both know like how much that when it comes to these comic books, the physical books themselves. I mean, like there's outside of my family, there's not anything I can think of that I love as passionately as I do these books. I mean, and Nick, it's to the point where Nick literally he seriously he'll say it all the time. Like there's a sickness in your head with this stuff. Like you just don't stop. I
Well, see,
can't.
I
How
don't
can
think.
you stop?
I mean, that's what he thinks because he doesn't have it too, right? The same way.
Right.
You're just passionate about it. You found something
Yeah.
that you like, that means something to you, that you're passionate about, and it's a way that you can derive income while doing something you like. Dude, that's a win-win-win. There's no
Yeah. Yeah.
sickness involved in that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it would be like I don't know, man. It'd be like if you're an alcoholic and you walk into the world's largest, liquor store, and
Distillery slash bar slash liquor store.
and
Yeah.
they just let you go around and you just get to sample as much as you want, anything you want in this. I mean, it just, I don't know, man.
Except being an alcoholic is bad for your health. And comics,
Yeah.
all they're bad for is your wallet.
Exactly. So I mean, you guys would.
That's why I'm always
telling you.
people at work, get your kids addicted to comic books and video games. They will never have money for alcohol or drugs.
Yep. Yeah, you guys will absolutely love it. I spent the last year telling anybody that would actually listen to me about this show and hyping this show up to the point where I was hoping I'd gotten to the point where I'm driving up there and I'm like, man, I hope that I did not overhype this show. Like, I hope that it wasn't just like a first time reaction or something and it doesn't deliver. And there's a lot of people coming, new people. But I mean, it absolutely over delivered. It was every bit as great as I remembered it being last year. And I didn't even get out of the parking
about
deck.
The thing that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the books. I love the books.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things I'm interested in, and this is just because I'm a people person, whatever, but I want to meet the creators. I want to meet the guys who made the books, and I want to shake their hand and say, "Dude, you changed my life."
And they're there, and they'll sit and talk with you, and the lines are never just crazy. I mean, Jeff Smith's line was really long for a minute, but he was only there for a short amount of time. But for the most part, I mean, you can walk up to just about anybody, and Steranko, you may have to stand in line for a little bit, maybe Scotty Young and
talk to everybody for 20 minutes.
Right, but I was gonna say, when you finally get to the front of those lines, though, you're gonna get
that's your
time.
20 minutes, and it's worth it.
Yeah,
George Perez was that way. George Perez was that way.
Claremont's bad.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Uncle I don't even want to get into Claremont. We were trying. Me and Nick sat there on a Sunday 2 years ago for 3.5 hours to get our little video with him, and we just left because we couldn't stay any longer. But yeah, that was one thing I knew you loved.
Comic and Pop Culture Expo the first year, they did an after hours event with him at Straight to Ale, and he just set up shop at a little table, and he literally never moved. He just sat there and talked the entire time. And there were a couple of things I thought were like, okay, I think everybody reasonably can agree with me that the television show adaptation of Legion was a little bit trippy. Right? I think everybody could reasonably agree with me. He did not. He thought I was being like weirdly judgmental or something. I'm like, no, I liked it. I just thought it was kind of trippy. No. I was like, okay.
See,
sorry, I guess.
Just a few months ago, I was this close to telling Nick, hey, I'll ride with you. And I got to looking at the date, and it hit me, and I'm glad it hit me when it did, that it fell on the exact same weekend that we had tickets to Joan Jett and Bryan Adams in Nashville.
I had a better time than you did.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of, I grew up with Joan Jett and Bryan Adams. It's my wife's favorite artist is Bryan Adams. Yeah, it's a totally different time. I mean, I had a black, plus it was also the Bugs' first concert.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, if you were taking her, that's different.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a really cool experience, getting to, share somebody that I grew up listening to with her being her first concert. But yeah, that's the only reason why I was not there this year.
Well, I tell you what, unless something just absolutely uncontrollable happens, next year, Alan, you and me and Nick will ride up. We can paint my van red. It's already white, so we can just paint some red and blue on there. We'll go up in the Captain America party bus. We'll make it a time.
Maybe you'll have the Haven wrap already on it by then.
I do need that. I need that Haven wrap on there. Just drive
Well,
around town advertising.
That's exciting to hear that you guys are going to come, man. I'm definitely excited about that. And I know last year, whenever I got back, I told, Josh was talking to me about the show beforehand when he found out I was going and telling me kind of what to expect. And, I talked to Josh after the show last year, and I talked to him after the show this year. And so, I told him, I said, I don't care if I have to drive to friggin' Huntsville 4 hours out of the way and drag you behind my truck by your feet, 6.5 hours the other way. You got to come to Charlotte with me next year.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Well, man,
you got me. You did this to me, so
hey, that's only fair. I'm proud to see you all grown up and branching out, doing your own thing. You've left the nest, and it's a beautiful thing to behold.
Josh is like, my baby boy.
He's all grown up.
He's grown up.
It's beautiful.
He's flying like a big bird now.
He is, and I love to see it. It's part of what makes doing this fun, man. Is to see somebody find that passion, find something they really like, and dig into it and get into it, and grow that appreciation for it. I mean, you're looking at stuff now you never would have looked at 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago.
I mean,
you're picking up
last
books.
year. I never would have thought that this would be a book that would have me to the point where I was just up at night because I was so upset that I could not get it. I've never had any interest in Golden Age pre-code horror. I bought 3 Golden Age books. I bought my first pre-code horror book, and I spent an hour and a half digging through those.
Wonder Woman book with a pink cover. You wouldn't have bought that, but now you see how awesome it is, and you're like, dude, this is incredible.
See, as far as to me, the best thing about our hobby is the community.
Yeah.
If you remove the community aspect of it, nothing will ever beat when you're just flipping through a box and you see some random ass comic book that you have never in your life considered picking up. And the second you see it, you're like, oh,
gotta have that.
That's mine. It's going on. And you don't even know why, but you have to own it. Dude, I love those moments. It's
well,
just
the other thing like that I like is when you see a book and you go, I know somebody else who would want this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what they dig. And to be able to show them and say, look, here's a thing that you're going to, and for them to be like, oh my God, yes. You want to share that with them. And I think that's kind of what you're feeling with this show is I love this. And this is an experience I think other people should have. And you want to share that with them. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of had something like that happen at the show. I had a guy, we were talking about Mortal Kombat. I was telling him I was buying the original art. He was like, do you like Killer Instinct by chance? I was like, well, of course. He's like, I've got an original art page from Killer Instinct here for sale if you would be into that. And I could not even understand where he got his price from because, I mean, I was expecting to pay several $100s for this and got it for a great price. And I went straight to my buddy Britt, who's a big Killer Instinct fan too. We like a lot of the same stuff. And when I showed it to him, his reaction was like more over the top than mine was, to the point where I had to give it to him. I just had to give it to him. Mm-hmm. And, I thought I was going to have to just fight him right there on the con floor to get him to actually take it. But, it was just, like you said, you see something like that and then you see how someone else reacts over it. It's like, that their reaction to having that is sometimes a lot better than you actually having it yourself. I mean,
that right there is when the thing you don't get when you're a kid and you're like, it's better to give than to receive. And you're like, oh, is it though? Come Christmas morning, I want to receive, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you hit that stage where you realize that there are these things that moment of them getting and their love and excitement it's so much better because you would see it, you would like it, you'd be like, yeah, it's really cool. I have this thing, but to know that that person's like, oh my god, I have this thing. There's just a level of excitement that goes with that, and that's really, really, really gratifying. To when you can appreciate that for somebody else is really gratifying. I love that. But no, I'm convinced, man. I'm all aboard. I like it.
Yeah, I was. So, like several of the stuff that you showed tonight, I saw your Instagram post on it, and the first thing I thought when I saw that IG post was like, "All right, my boy has finally had a good con this year." I mean, to me, I got excited just looking at the Instagram post. I'm like, "All right, Heroes came through for him. He's had a good con, so we can wrap up the con season."
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And after last year, I've said it 1,000 times. If I have to spend the rest of my life and only go to one comic convention a year, Heroes is it. Like, hands down, no questions asked. I don't care what show's going on the other side of anywhere else. I don't care who's going to be there. I will not miss this show again for the rest of my life. It will not happen.
That's so cool. I'm excited to go.
Yeah.
Have you show me around? That'll be great. I'll take the guided tour. I like this. I mapped out my route business. That was hysterical. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this has been so bad that we get in there Thursday and set up, and I spent 4 hours unloading everything for this booth and helping set it up. I mean, I was exhausted. I was up at 4:30 that morning, and we didn't get in bed until like 11:30, 12 o'clock. At 4:30 the next morning, I was wide awake. I couldn't sleep. So I'm sitting there going through my list of books that I'm looking for, checking GPA, making sure I know what my price points are so that I'm not standing in front of the dealers pulling out my phone so that I don't have to worry about them thinking I'm trying to get a better deal to sell it. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, man, preparation for this show, it was not a joke.
I get it. When are you going to be back over this way? Because I got to give you a Fantastic Four number 48 to perform some chiropractic on.
I'm really not sure yet. Like I said, in a couple weeks we'll be in Knoxville and Lexington, and then the weekend after that, I think Nick is coming down here. My mom's throwing a party for Ellie, and then the week after that, I'm going on the first vacation with my family that I think I've been on in like 10 years. So they go every year, but I'm finally getting to go again because I work at a new company that allows vacation time. So I've been wanting to get up there though, for sure. So I know there's a show coming up soon.
Oh, the one in September?
Yeah. Oh, is it September? I thought it was before then.
No, there's one in September, the Sand Mountain Comic Expo or whatever it is they're calling it.
Okay. Maybe I'll just
That's
make
it's a first year show, but it'll be
okay.
fun.
I may just get a wild hair and just drive up there one Saturday, come hang out for a little bit, and then go back home.
Anytime. You worked a freaking miracle with this book. I mean,
I've got I
want to get my hands on the big one.
Well, yeah, I've got it up here. If you think you can squeeze something more out of it, that would be worthwhile.
I'd love to look at it for sure and see. There was one of Justin's.
That 4.5 number bothers me. I want like a 4 is okay, a 5 is okay. 4.5 is just like.
Justin's ASM 10. I didn't even give him the option. I mean, as soon as we got back to the hotel and he was showing it to me, I was like, you've looked at it? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you feel good? He said, yeah. I said, cool. And I took it from him and put it right in my bag. He was like, I was like, no, I got to crack that, dude. Last year, all of the books he bought, he sent them all home with me. This year, I took his 14 and his 10. I'm like, no, we can't leave these like this, man. Like, we got to crack these books, dude. We got to do it.
There's room on here. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm with you. Well, man, it's about time to wrap up and head out. I know it's an hour later for you, and you got to get up early. So appreciate you hanging out and talking with us and preaching the gospel of Heroes Con. Looking forward to that. We will catch you here soon, hopefully, and we'll definitely be seeing you there next year.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around. This was a great show. Next week, we got John Ostrander coming on, and you can't beat that because he's a pretty awesome dude. Might be a total lunatic, but I haven't heard that warning from anybody, so we're going to just go on the assumption he's just a cool dude. You never know. That's part of the fun, right?
Josh sent me a text message and said, "Hey, this is who we got." And my automatic response was, "You remember what happened last time we interviewed a Star Wars person, don't you?"
Yeah, that was his immediate response. Exactly. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll catch you guys next week.